Hi YouTube. I'm going to install Harbor Freight Badland ZXR 3500 winch to the Thumperfab bumper that I recently installed on the rear of my Polaris Ranger 570 midsize.
This is the picture of the bumper with the winch just sitting on the bumper to show the actual placement. And here's a close-up of what the winch will look like when it's mounted. Right now it's just resting on it.
I had to drill holes in the bumper to match the mounting plate. This hole on the lower right was a little snug, so it's a little wider, but hopefully this will work. So I will see if I can get the winch at least finger tightened on. Fair lead's on the front, and that has been secured via the supplied hardware with the Badland ZXR 3500. And the next step is to feed the cables through that provided slot, and then secure the winch from the bottom side of the bumper through the plate. Alrighty, I have the Badland ZXR 3500 mounted to the plate and fairly attached. It was a bit of a challenge trying to get the holes just perfect, and unfortunately Thumperfab shorted me on some hardware. So I can talk to you about that in my other video where I installed it. So I'll do a little follow-up to that one. But in any case, at least it's on. It's good and solid. It fits. I still have access to the free spool mechanism. I'm gonna have to take the steel cable out and replace it with rope. Synthetic line once I get the winch wired up, and so that's the next order of business. So as you can see, I've got the two leads here, and these wire into a relay, and then the relay goes to the battery, and then up front I put either one or two switches. So it came with a rocker switch, and it came with a wired remote. So I'll at least wire the wired remote in, so I can stand outside the vehicle and use that and watch what I'm doing. Whether or not I wire the rocker switch in, that remains to be seen. I'm not really sure I see the point in that one, but we'll see. Okay, the power cables, there's one here and there's one back there. You can see the yellow one and the blue one. They're obviously too short. The wires were only made to do a front install, and so they were relatively short. So what I had to do is, those are actually number 6 wires, and so it was really tough to try and find some stranded THHN copper number 6. My big box stores didn't have it, and finally what I did is I bought a set of jumper cables, 20-foot long jumper cables, and those were, believe it or not, a lot cheaper than buying the wire from Amazon or another online retailer. So I was able to get some nice jumper cables from Harbor Freight, and pick those up for less than 30 bucks. So that was nice. And then what I ended up doing is, you can see those are my originals, and then they transition over to red and black. So what I did there is I got some copper barrel connectors, and I've got a lug crimp and put heat shrink on the wires. Well, cut the cut the ends off the blue and the yellow, and then obviously cut the clamps off the jumper cables, and then strip the wires back about a ½ inch on either wire. Put plenty of heat shrink on either side, and then used a copper barrel connector with my lug crimper and crimped those down good and snug, and then ran the heat shrink back up, hit it with a heat gun, and was able to basically create my own extension wires. Unfortunately, they're not blue and yellow, they're black and red, but red goes to yellow, black goes to blue. That was easy enough. And then you can see I just zip tied it along with some other wires. That's my camera wire. And then it goes through the actual channel in the floor. Pardon all the mud. I had this thing submerged in mud, so every time you think it's clean, you take another panel off and then it's still full of mud. So I'll get that all straightened out at some point when the weather warms up a bit. But those are all secured down with nylon zip ties, and then they come out under the hood, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, this is where I mounted the relay, and I wanted to get it up here high so future water crossings and so forth wouldn't interact with it, interfere with it. And the battery terminals, by the way, I've coated them with dielectric grease, and they've got lug covers on them. And that's the original, that's the Polaris unit that came with it. And then that's a bus right there that was in it when I got the thing, so I just utilized that bus. This is hot all the time. That's the ground. And then the one with the yellow wire, that's hot whenever there's a whenever the switch is on. So had to do two things. One, I wired this in. You can see here's the red and the black wires that I ran all the way up. So you can see those. The other red and black were supplied by the by Badland's Harbor Freight. And then you can see this side, the center one goes to ground, and the other two go to the switch. And then there is a third one, and the third one actually goes to that lug that's powered when the switch is on. And then if you'll notice, I've got a rocker switch here. This came with the winch, and they wanted you to add a rocker switch. I didn't really need a rocker switch, but it looked like it was going to interfere with the if I didn't connect that, it looked like it was not going to complete the circuit, and I didn't want to have to take the thing apart and rewire it. So I just went ahead and installed the rocker switch and put it right there. So it's kind of a goofy place to have it, but anyway, it's there. It really does nothing. And then to actually mount the switch, we'll come around to the front, and that's the jack where the switch goes. And then this is the actual remote that comes with it. Plugs in there, and when the power's on, it works. Then if you wonder what this is, I've got a battery tender, and I just backfeed the cigarette lighter port, that power port right there, and keep a battery tender on it all the time. Keeps my battery charged. So that is the installation. The only other item that I had to deal with was moving my camera. Had this backup camera, and it was mounted down below so I could see where I was gonna hitch up to a trailer or whatever. And two things. One, as I mentioned in my last video, the trailer connection on the on this thing is cheesy, and I wouldn't trust it with anything. First time I put any pressure on it, the thing kind of crumpled, and I had to do my best to straighten it out, and it's not quite straight. But anyway, I did have the camera mounted right back there. You can see that hole above the transmission. And unfortunately, when I put the bumper in and then put my license tag and everything back in place, all I could see was the back of the license tag. So I rerouted it and mounted it up there. And I'm still waiting on Thumperfab to send me the covers for these for the light cubes that they shorted me on. And what else? Oh, this is something you might be interested in. If you ever want to pull a deer or something heavy up into your bed, a lot of people will mount these winches up on the roof. Well, the problem is when your bed folds back, the line would come from here, and then it has to go over the sharp edge of the bed and scrapes the wire. What I did is I welded this, so I got some 1/8 inch flat iron stock and welded a 90 here, and then welded this 45 in this way, and then welded a D-ring on it, painted everything, and then drilled holes in it. So this is not permanently mounted. These jobs right here will unscrew, and then this will come out. So these tie-down hooks actually hold this in here, and then what I can do if I want to pull a deer or anything else up in the bed of the into the bed, I can hook a come-along up right here, tie the other end to whatever it is I'm trying to drag up, drop the bed, lower the tailgate, crank it right up, close the tailgate, I'm good to go. So anyway, thought that was an interesting way to handle that. I had not seen anybody do something like that, and that was a lot cheaper than trying to hook a winch up to the top, and I didn't want to try and put any weight on that roof anyway. As you can see, I've got a crack right here, so, and I got a buddy of mine who's got a 1000, and his is doing the same thing, so I guess it's just a stress crack. Well, that does it. I appreciate your time.